This episode is brought to you by Madonna.
Cue music now.
Thanks for taking a ride with Eric.
And David.
Do we like to say it David and Eric, or Eric and
I don't
David?
know. Well, the acronym sounds better, T-A-R-E-D. Otherwise it's tardy. We could be late.
Tard.
Tard.
What do we got today?
Living in a material world. Let's get out of the gates. And does Jesus or the Bible make a stand on material wealth?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Money is one of the most talked about things in the Bible. And I think it's probably one of the things that people get most frustrated about when attending churches, because they feel like people talk about money all the time in the church, and when the Bible talks about it so much, it's kind of hard to avoid. So, yeah, I mean, Jesus and the Bible speak about wealth, not in overly glaring terms, but it's always related to wealth and its position in someone's life, and the fact that wealth can be a significant stumbling block to people's faith, because when I have money, I don't have to trust as much or rely on the provisions of God. For example, the rich young ruler, when Jesus says, you know, then go and sell all your possessions, and he can't do it because that's his identity and that's his security. So yeah, the Bible and Jesus speak pretty openly about material wealth. Not that in and of itself it's a negative thing, but the allure of it and the draw of it can be a very bad thing.
So why do people have money problems, and even though they're serving God?
Well, typically money problems come when we don't manage our money well. And so it's not to put that on God, and it's not that God is just going to keep giving you more money because you make bad decisions with your money. You know, if I go out and spend more money than I'm making, God isn't going to somehow just come to my rescue because I made a bad decision and decided to spend more than I was going to make that month. Not that he can't, or not that he won't, but I shouldn't be blaming him for my bad decision.
So where does it say that God will prosper me?
Well, we like to quote verses, especially from the Old Testament, about God's provision and how God will prosper us and not harm us. And then we immediately make the jump to material wealth, because in our culture, in American culture, prosperity equals wealth. Therefore, if God says in the Bible he's going to prosper me at any point, even if he doesn't say it specifically about me, he says it about his people, and I just make myself his people, then I automatically think it's going to be money, possessions, that sort of thing, which is a dangerous, dangerous place. You know, Jesus says, you know, you'll have what you need, as in what you need for today, the bare minimum. You even look at the Lord's Prayer. You know, this prayer that Jesus teaches us, give us this day our daily bread. It's not give me the next month of bread, because if you'd go buy the next month of bread at Cup Foods, in another month it'd be stale and nasty. So that would make no sense. You buy fresh bread, fresh baked bread from the deli or the bakery. They're basically the same thing.
They're right next to each other.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think it's a misnomer that God will prosper us financially.
Does the Bible, when it talks about prosperity in the Old Testament, like you were saying, is that more a lot of times referred to as the children, or like a family size? Because that was very important back in the Old Testament time, correct?
Yeah, you know, and the whole idea of prosperity is, in essence, I'm going to take care of you and provide for your every need. So kids, livestock, those types of things. Yeah, we think prosperity equals money, equals big house, equals more stuff. And that's not biblical.
What does the Bible say about generosity and the duty to the poor?
All these verses about money, there's always the concept of taking care of the widow and the orphan, giving back, providing for those people who are in need, giving a percentage of what you have to take care of others. You see the early church in Acts chapter 2, everyone's selling everything they have and basically living in commune or in a commune type setting, so that, hey, if you need something, you can have some of mine. If I need something, I can have some of yours. And it's the responsibility of people who are followers of Jesus to take care of the orphan and the widow, and the alien and the stranger and all of these things. Look at this story of the Good Samaritan. That guy is taking care of his absolute worst enemy with his own stuff because he was in need, and that's what he was called to do.
So are material things idols or blessings?
I think it depends on who you are. Some of us are very much, I think of my kids and how they're motivated positively or negatively by certain things. And each one of us knows what motivates us. For some of us, it's stuff. And so what can be a blessing can also turn into an idol. What are the things that I want? Why do I want them? One of my favorite verses in the Bible is godliness plus contentment. Well, it's not. I'm paraphrasing. Godliness plus contentment equals great gain. So talking about this idea of blessings, of material things, James MacDonald in his book, Lord Changed My Attitude, Before It's Too Late, talks about this idea of contentment and covetousness, and how covetousness is not always wanting the wrong thing, but sometimes it's wanting the wrong thing, either at the wrong time, in the wrong amount, or for the wrong reason. And I think it's the same thing with stuff. Having a vehicle can be an absolute blessing. But if I have a vehicle that's becoming my idol by forcing me to work more, taking away from my family, making me feel better about myself, when I'm around my friends, because none of them drive a vehicle as nice as I do, which that's absolutely not true. Then it becomes an idol. It's a thing that we place before God, and that's where the challenge becomes. If our house, any of our possessions, get placed before God, then it's no longer a blessing. Then it's an idol.
Is it okay to pray for wealth and success?
We're told in James that you have not because you ask not, or you ask for the wrong reason. And I'm a big proponent, encourager of specific prayer. And so when it comes to this, why are we praying for wealth and success? Is it, again, for ourselves, so that we're more comfortable, so that we have nicer things, so that we can feel better about ourselves and be in a different socioeconomic place? Or is it to bless other people? And I'm a firm believer that, and have been for a very long time, that God blesses people with the ability to make insane amounts of money, because he wants those people to then take that excess money and bless the world around them. Sure. And so for those people to be blessed with wealth and success, they're the ones that are fueling the advancement of the kingdom of God by their resources. And that's not a bad thing. And what happens when I get it? Do I just want more?
So do I have to be poor to be a true follower of Christ?
Well, if you live in the United States, you're not poor by any worldly standard. So the answer is no. Certain people are clearly called to live lives of austerity or ascetic lives. We can see back in early church the ascetics, the monks that went out and lived in the desert on nothing. But that's what they were called by God to do, is go out and live a less than life in devotion to God. If that's what God's calling you to do, then I would probably listen. If God is calling you to sell your stuff and go and serve in a poor-ish capacity, then I would say you should respond to what God's calling you to do. Chances are that's not what he's doing. He's calling you to reach out to those people right in your own neighborhood and share his love with them. The idea that you have to be, everyone who's a follower of Christ has to be poor is not true. You have to seek first the kingdom of God, and then everything else will be added on. We kind of get those things misconstrued.
But I'd break out in the song.
Material, living in a material world.
Something like that.
Just like that?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, thanks for joining us today on Taking a Ride with
Eric
and David.
Comment below if you got thoughts and feedback. If you're looking for a good documentary, check out Minimalism on Netflix. I wouldn't agree with all of it, but it certainly is a good perspective on this idea of materialism.
Very good. Well,
Check it out.
and until next time, hope you have a great day.